Hurricane Florence has started to make its pass along the eastern Carolina coast. The latest track is just ahead. And we'll take you to areas across eastern Carolina that are seeing some of the most serious impacts, complete with live reports. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Clayton Bauman. From storm surge to flash flooding, Hurricane Florence is starting to batter eastern Carolina. For the latest on the situation there, we have our triple box right now showing where our reporters are in the east, and we have meteorologist Matt Engelbrecht right now. We're going to go over to him to get the latest track information. Matt.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start off, take a look at the radar image. What I've been doing the last couple of hours is I've been drawing a line along the eye, how long the eye is or how wide the eye is. And you can see the track has actually been a little bit further to the north than the west. The official track has this storm turning eventually to the northwest, but the more lines that we put up here, the further these heavy rain bands and the strong winds surrounding the eye wall go further to the north. So that's why I want to make sure we keep an eye on this pretty closely. And also the thing to note is how the eye wall has actually shrunk a little bit in the last 2 hours. Originally, you see that big white line right there, and now we're down to this one right here. So again, that's something I'm going to be monitoring a little bit closer to home. Already seeing some damage through the area. We have had reports of trees down, power outages, and storm surge in parts of New Bern, but also Carteret County. Also some tropical storm force winds where you're seeing some of these icons and heavy downpours. And it's only going to get worse from here on out. If you've been following our reports going back a few hours, we started talking about the storm surge. That is only going to ramp up as we get closer and closer to high tide, which is around 11 o'clock tonight.
All right, thanks, Matt.
Yep.
The town of Swansboro is under mandatory evacuation, but some residents chose to hunker down during the storm. Melissa Henry is live in Swansboro with the latest on the current conditions, which are intense right now.
One family is hunkering down at their house in Swansboro throughout the storm despite the mandatory evacuation order, but they're prepared for significant flooding at their waterfront apartment.
Probably the thing that bothers me the most is our son, who's at NC State, seems to be very worried about us and wanted us to leave, and we keep trying to tell him that this is still, we're safe, we're fine. So having him worry about us bothers me as a mom.
Something silly, we brought kayaks to our house, so if we really feel like we need to come down here and check on it, we'll drive a little bit down and kayak down here and see what we can do.
One boat owner who is also staying here in Swansboro says boat storage places were completely full.
We'll ride it out at the house, put the boat out in a safe place, we hope, and see how it does.
Others who are staying have prepared to be without water for as long as 2 weeks.
It was an aquapod. Found that back when I was in Hawaii, and it'll hold 65 gallons of water. It's a one-time use bag you put in your bathtub. It's a really great option. Never even heard of it till I found it.
Swansboro did announce today that there is a curfew in effect from 7 p.m. Thursday night until 7 a.m. Sunday morning. Reporting live in Swansboro, I'm Melissa Henry, WITN News.
As you can see, the situation out there is deteriorating. Very windy out there. I do have her script out there that she planned to say. Swansboro has said that there is a city curfew from 7 p.m. Thursday night until 7 a.m. Sunday morning. And Swansboro has also ordered a mandatory evacuation. They ordered a mandatory evacuation on Tuesday. Now, right now, we are waiting to take a live press conference with Governor Roy Cooper in Raleigh. He has been he's been having press conferences throughout the week in the run-up to the storm. As you can tell right now, it's very busy in there right now. Over the course of the last few days, the governor has issued a mandatory evacuation of the barrier islands, something that the governor has said is essentially unprecedented in the state's history. There he is right there, about to update us on the situation on state preparedness. Let's listen in.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. The first bands of the storm are upon us, but we have days more to go. Wind and waves are driving seawater through some coastal streets, like rivers. Nearly 30,000 people in North Carolina already are without power. That number is rising. The efforts.
You've been listening to an update from Raleigh with Governor Roy Cooper. Now back here in the east, we are already seeing flooding in some communities right now. Stacia Strong is back from Pamlico County today, where water began creeping into towns along the coast. She joins us live now from New Bern with conditions there where we're starting to see deterioration as well.
It's been just the last few hours that things have really started picking up. I can tell you we've been standing out here for just a few minutes, and where we were standing when we first got here, there was no water. I am already in almost calf deep water. That's how quickly this is coming out, and things were no different in Oriental and Pamlico County when we were there earlier this afternoon. Water was already starting to get close to homes and roadways. Highway 55, that's the main road that goes in and out of Oriental, has just a few barriers in place, but the sheriffs that I was talking to earlier was telling me, they expect that road to be closed by early afternoon. Highway 55 at Florence Road right now was shut down by DOT. I spoke to some residents in Oriental who were staying put. They tell me they know that what they saw this morning was just the beginning of what they can expect from Hurricane Florence. And they said they're just hoping the water will leave as quickly as it has come in. And for first responders, they tell me they've already had a really busy day with multiple rescue calls.
We're going to try to help the best we can, but it's getting to the point now, particularly on our back roads in Pamlico County, where we just can't get there safely. And at some point in time soon, we're going to have to stop responding to those areas without, taking boats and high water vehicles and stuff of that nature.
Sheriff Davis says they are getting some help from first responders. They've got about 85 search and rescue crew members from New York that are down here. He says they've already put them and their boats and their high water vehicles to use today with those multiple rescue calls. And he said it's only going to get worse from here. They're really asking people to hunker down. Now back out here in New Bern, what you're looking at, that's the roundabout on East Front Street. Obviously, it's not usually underwater. This road, East Front Street, runs right along the Neuse River, and things have just deteriorated extremely quickly. Now, just up the road from where I'm standing is Union Point Park. It's a staple in New Bern. It is completely underwater. They have closed East Front Street. They have closed parts of South Front Street where the New Bern Convention Center is. The water is already up to the Convention Center. So really, I will say, Clayton, I've seen a ton of people out here driving around, and if you guys can't see this water sloshing, it has got a current running through it. It's moving very quickly. It's incredibly dangerous out here. I don't think that anyone should be driving through here. We watched a couple people who tried to drive through it and had to turn around. It was just getting so deep. So things are only getting worse here, and we'll continue to monitor them. Back to you.
I think anybody from that area is getting goosebumps seeing that so early in this weather event. Thank you, Stacia. Emergency responders are reminding residents that there is a curfew for the city of New Bern that is in effect from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m., and they are really urging people to stay at home. Ahead of the storm, there's no room at the inn. Kyle Madura catches up with those taking refuge in Greenville's hotels.
From the coast and just down the block, those looking for shelter from Hurricane Florence are flooding into hotels. Andrew Schmidt with the Greenville Pitt County Convention and Visitors Bureau updates the state on room availability daily.
At this point for today, tomorrow, and Saturday, there's not any rooms in Greenville or Pitt County.
And as I started hearing about the storm, I felt like it probably best to leave. So.
Darren Collins lives in a mobile home in Arapahoe. He's sharing a hotel room with his mother as they wait out the storm.
We both kind of worried, but we pretty sure God will take care of us and the homestead too, so I feel like everything will be all right.
Patty Borquez, her 2 kids, mother, and 5-week-old puppy live just down the road. Her home didn't flood during Hurricane Matthew, but she wanted to play it safe.
A couple of days ago, I was really worried. Now, not so much, but I'm still concerned about the flooding.
Their hotel room is stocked with food and entertainment. Her biggest concern right now is being cooped up for a few days.
Well, with the kids, not so excited about that because they can't stay still in one place,
But at least here, she knows they're safe. In Greenville, Kyle Madura, WITN News.
The Visitors Bureau says room availability is fluid. If you decide you need a safer place to stay, you can see what's available at visitgreenvillenc.com. Areas of Washington were placed under a mandatory evacuation, but some homeowners are opting to stay. Hear from them ahead. First, though, let's head out to Jacksonville for a live look from our Freedom Fountain Cam out there. Looking pretty calm for the most part. Obviously a stark contrast to what we were seeing up in Swansboro area. We've got more live reports coming up later.